The weapon girl, the sky was dark. Smoke covered the stars. A small girl stood on the ruins of a broken city. Her silver armor was burned in places. Her eyes were cold, empty. No one knew her real name. Everyone called her Project Echo. She was not born to fight. She was made to fight. Created in a secret lab, trained from childhood, she was a living weapon. Her hands could crush steel. Her mind was faster than computers. She had no family, no friends, no voice. She followed orders. She destroyed everything in her path. But today, something was different. She stood still. Her mission was over. The enemy was gone. The city was silent. And for the first time, she felt something strange. Confusion. What now? She whispered to herself. The first words she had spoken in years. Her voice was soft, scared, like a child. Behind her, a group of soldiers watched from a ship above. "Do we extract her?" one of them asked. "No," their commander said. "She's broken. Leave her." They flew away, leaving her alone. Hours passed. The girl walked through the dead streets. She found no one, only silence. She didn't know where to go. She didn't even know who she was without someone giving orders. Then a small ship landed nearby. It was old, rusty, and strange. A man stepped out. He looked human, tall, bearded, with kind eyes. His name was Marcus. He saw the girl and froze. She raised her hand slowly. Not to fight, but to show she had no weapons left. "Easy," Marcus said, raising his hands too. "I'm not here to hurt you." The girl tilted her head, confused. "Are you hurt?" he asked. She said nothing. Marcus looked closer. Her arms were shaking. Her legs looked weak. He saw the burn marks on her armor and the sadness in her eyes. "You're just a kid," he whispered. He took a step forward. She didn't move. He opened his bag and pulled out a small energy bar. "Here," he said, placing it on a nearby rock. "Food. You look like you need it." She stared at the bar, then at him. He walked back to his ship, slowly, not turning his back. She waited. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. Finally, she picked up the food and ate it like she hadn't eaten in days. Marcus watched from his ship. He smiled. "She's not a monster," he said softly. "She's a girl." He opened the ship's door wider. Warm light spilled out. The girl looked up. Marcus nodded. "If you want to come in, it's safe." She hesitated, then walked forward step by step, her armor clicking with each move. She entered the ship. He didn't ask questions. He just offered her a seat, a blanket, and more food. For the first time in her life, no one gave her an order. She didn't know what to do. Marcus sat nearby, watching her carefully. "What's your name?" he asked. She looked down. "Project Echo." "That's not a name," he said. "That's something someone gave you. We'll find you a real name." She blinked. "Why?" "Because," he said with a small smile, "you deserve one." The silent guessed the inside of Marcus's ship was small but warm. Soft lights hummed above. Wires dangled from the ceiling. Tools and machines were scattered around. It smelled like oil, metal, and safety. The girl sat on the edge of a bench, still wearing her damaged armor. She didn't speak, didn't move much. Her eyes followed every sound. Like a cornered animal ready to attack or run, Marcus placed a bowl of soup in front of her. "It's not great," he said, "but it's hot." She didn't touch it. He stepped away, gave her space. "You can rest here," he said. "You're safe." She didn't reply. For the next few hours, Marcus worked on his tools. Sometimes he talked to her, told her simple things, about his ship, about planets he'd visited, about a pet cat he once had. He didn't expect answers. But she listened, every word. Finally, she picked up the spoon, slowly, like it was a weapon. She took one bite, then another. Marcus didn't smile or cheer. He just nodded. Good, he said, and kept working. Night came. The stars outside blinked in the dark void. Marcus showed her a small room with a bed. You can sleep here, he said. She walked in but didn't lie down. She stood in the corner, facing the door. Marcus left her alone. That night, he checked his messages. Bounty alerts were spreading across the galaxy. Project Echo is alive. Warning, high threat. Capture orders active. Reward, 500,000 credits. Marcus stared at the screen. They're hunting her, he whispered. He looked toward the room where she stood. Not asleep, not safe. In the morning, Marcus found her sitting on the floor of the engine room. She was holding a wrench, staring at one of the damaged engines. He watched quietly. She reached out, pressed 3 wires together. The machine lit up. Marcus blinked. You fixed it. She didn't respond. You know machines? She looked at him and gave the smallest nod. He smiled. You've got skills, huh? She lowered her head, almost shy. He sat beside her. You don't have to be a weapon, you know. Not here. She turned her head slowly. Then, what am I? Marcus paused. You're a guest. For now. She seemed confused, but something in her face softened. A few days passed. She still didn't talk much, but she began helping. Fixing wires, cleaning parts, even cooking once. Badly, but she tried. Marcus noticed the change. Her eyes looked less empty. Her hands shook less. He decided to give her a name. I was thinking, he said one morning, about what to call you. How about Leary? She looked up. Leary? Yeah. Simple. Strong. And it sounds like you. She said the name again, slower. Leary? She didn't smile. Not yet. But she said nothing else all day. Just the name, to herself. But peace never lasted in space. One evening, as they floated near a quiet moon, Marcus's ship shook. An alert beeped. Incoming vessel, unauthorized, armed. Marcus ran to the controls. Pirates, he muttered. No. Worse. He turned to Leary. Hide, now. But she didn't move. Outside, a sleek black ship landed. 4 armored soldiers walked in. Bounty. Hunters. We're looking for something, their leader said, eyes scanning the room. Marcus tried to act calm. Nothing here but junk and me. Our scanners disagree. They stepped forward. One of them reached toward the door to the back room. Before he could touch it, Leary appeared. No armor. Just her, in a worn shirt and old pants. But her eyes were sharp. The bounty hunters froze. Project Echo, one whispered. Leary didn't attack, didn't run. She stood there calm. Step aside, the leader said. You're worth more alive. Marcus grabbed a tool and pointed it like a weapon. Leave her alone. The soldiers laughed. What will you do with that? Suddenly, Leary moved, but not to kill. She pulled wires from the ceiling, threw them down, and shocked the lights. The room went dark. Machines sparked. The ship rocked. In the confusion, she grabbed Marcus and ran. They reached the lower hatch. Get to the pilot chair, Marcus shouted. Leary didn't question. She jumped in, started the engines with quick, perfect moves. The ship lifted. The bounty. Hunters shot at them, but it was too late. They escaped into space. Hours later, the ship drifted through empty stars. Marcus breathed heavily. You saved me. Leary looked away. You helped me first. He smiled. So, we're even? She didn't answer. But this time she smiled. Just a little. And that small smile meant more than any weapon ever could. A name, not a number. The stars moved slowly around them as the ship floated in quiet space. Marcus sat at the control panel, his hands still shaking. He stared at the empty screen where the bounty hunter's signal had vanished. Beside him, Leary stood silently, Her eyes were calm, but her jaw was tight. She had saved them. Again. "You okay?" Marcus asked. Leary nodded once. "You didn't hurt anyone," he said. "You could have." She looked down at her hands. "I didn't want to." "That's good," he said softly. "Really good." He stood up, stretched, and smiled. "You're more than just Project Echo now. You're Leary." She looked at him. "Why do you keep calling me that?" "Because a name is more than letters," Marcus said. "It's a choice, and you deserve to choose." Leary stared out the window. "I was never given choices." Marcus leaned on the wall beside her. "You have one now." They traveled to a hidden mining planet called Braca, known for its old tech markets and silence. No laws, no questions. Marcus had a friend there, Juna, a cybernetic engineer who once worked for the same people who built Project Echo. When they landed, Juna looked at Leary with wide eyes. "Is this who I think it is?" she whispered. "She's not what they say," Marcus replied. Juna nodded slowly. "I can help unlock her memory blocks, but it might hurt." Leary stepped forward. "I want to remember. Are you sure? I need to know who I was. Before." Juna connected small wires to Leary's neck and temples. Lights flashed. Leary's body tensed. Then, images. Blurry faces. A woman smiling. A child's hand holding a toy. A fire. Screaming. Darkness. Her breath caught. Marcus held her hand. Juna whispered. She was taken when she was 5. They erased everything. Family, emotions, pain. Tears rolled down Leary's cheeks. The first she had ever cried. "I remember. A song," she whispered. "My mother used to sing it." Marcus nodded. "Hold on to that. That's yours." But their peace didn't last. Juna's workshop was being watched. Someone had sold their location. "They're coming," Juna warned. "You need to go." Outside, 3 bounty ships landed. Elite hunters this time. No mistakes. No mercy. Leary stood up. Her face was calm, but different now. She knew she had a past. A family. She was more than wires and commands. "We'll fight," Marcus said. Leary touched his arm. "No. We'll outsmart them." They moved through the back tunnels of the mining colony. Dark halls, old machines, dripping pipes. Marcus led the way with a scanner. Leary moved silently behind him, always alert. "This way," he whispered. "There's an escape pod. Small, but fast." Behind them, footsteps echoed. "They're close," Leary said. They turned a corner and saw the hunters. Marcus fired a pulse shot. Leary threw a pipe, knocking down one of them. They ran, turned again. More enemies. Trapped. But Leary stepped forward, raising her hands. "You want Project Echo?" she said. "Then listen." The hunters paused. "I'm not your weapon anymore. I'm not for sale. I'm not your mission." One of them stepped forward. "You're dangerous. The galaxy wants you gone." "The galaxy fears what it doesn't understand," she said. Her hands sparked with power, but she didn't attack. "I could destroy you, but I won't." The hunters hesitated. "Why not?" one asked. "Because I'm not a number. I'm not what you made me. I'm Leary." For the first time, the bounty team lowered their weapons. They weren't sure anymore. Was she a threat, or a girl trying to find peace? In that moment of doubt, Juna's escape pod arrived. Remote-controlled. Marcus pulled Leary in. The pod shot into space, leaving confusion behind. Later on the pod, Marcus laughed. "You talked them down." "I don't want to fight anymore," Leary said. "I want to be free." Marcus looked at her. "Then we'll keep running." "Keep fighting only if we have to," Leary smiled. "Not a small one, a real one." "Thank you," she said. "For what?" "For seeing me." But deep in the galaxy, the news spread. Project Echo is alive. She is choosing her own path. Some wanted her captured. Others wanted her protected, but everyone was watching. And for the first time, Leary wasn't hiding. She was becoming something new. Not a weapon. A person. Escaped through fire. The escape pod flew through empty space fast and silent. Small sparks flickered from the engines, but Leary sat calmly beside Marcus. Her mind wasn't on the stars outside. It was on the words she had spoken back in the tunnels. I'm not a number. I'm Leary. They weren't just words anymore. They were her truth. But truth could be dangerous. Back on the mining colony, someone had recorded her speech. It spread across underground networks, then military channels, then open forums. Millions of beings watched the footage of Project Echo refusing to kill, refusing to obey. To some, she was hope. To others, a threat, and to a dark force in the Yao, far corner of the galaxy, she was a loose end that must be erased. A large warship called the Obsidian Crown began moving. Its crew didn't ask questions. They followed only one order: track and destroy the girl before she sparks a rebellion on. The pod, Marcus and Leary, landed on a nearby moon called Sovra, covered in forests, cliffs, and secret resistance shelters. It was quiet, untouched by war. They needed rest, but they wouldn't get it. That night, as Leary sat near a campfire, something inside her changed. Her hand began to glow. Faint blue light flowed through her veins. Her heart beat faster. "Marcus," she whispered. "Something's wrong." He turned and saw it. The power inside her, growing. "Juna said your memory unlock might trigger something buried deep," he said. "Maybe they didn't just train you. Maybe they changed you." "Feel like I'm burning," she whispered. "You're not," Marcus said softly. "You're waking up." Suddenly an alarm flashed on Marcus's wrist. "Incoming ship." He stood quickly. "Who is it?" Leary asked. "Not pirates," he said. "Too big? It's a military cruiser. High level." Leary's eyes went cold. "They found me." The Obsidian Crown broke through the clouds above Sovra, casting shadows across the forest. Hundreds of troops moved in. "She's near," their leader said. "Alive. Do not fail." Marcus and Leary ran through the trees, dodging searchlights and scanning drones. They reached a cliff edge. Below, a wide lake. No cover. "They're closing in," Marcus said. Leary turned. "Go, I'll stay." "No, not again," he said. "We stay together." A drone spotted them. A siren screamed. Leary raised her hand, and something new happened. The blue light in her arm sparked and exploded outward. A wave of energy shot through the forest. Drones dropped. Trees bent. The sky glowed. Marcus stared. "That wasn't tech. That was you." She fell to her knees, shaking. "I don't know how to stop it." "We'll figure it out," he said, lifting her. "But not here." They slid down the cliff into the water. Cold, deep, silent. As they swam to the other side, Marcus whispered, "There's an old resistance base nearby. We can hide there." Hours later, they entered a cave hidden behind a waterfall. The entrance opened into a dark corridor lit by old lights. "How do you know this place?" Leary asked. "I built it," Marcus said. "Long ago." They followed the hallway to a central room with control panels, medical gear, and a storage vault. "This is our last safe place," Marcus said. But safety was only temporary. Outside, the Obsidian Crown's commander activated a final protocol. If she won't be taken, we burn the moon. The ship charged its main cannon. Inside the base, Leary sat against a wall, tired and afraid. "If I wasn't here, you wouldn't be hunted." Marcus shook his head. "No, I'm hunted because I care, and that's worth everything." She looked at him. "You believe in me, even when I don't." "Because I see the real you," he said. "Not the weapon they built. The girl who wants to be free." Leary stood. "Then let's fight." "You sure?" "I'm done hiding." They activated the base's old defense system. Turrets, shields, traps. The warship above began firing. The ground shook. Fire rained from the sky. Explosions lit the forest. But the base held. Leary walked outside, glowing now, eyes, skin, hands. Her power was no longer breaking her. It was becoming part of her. This ends now, she said. She raised her hand and sent a pulse of energy skyward. It hit the obsidian crown's shields and broke them. The warship stalled. The commander shouted, "She's evolved." "Retreat," someone screamed, but it was too late. Leary's second wave hit their engines. Fire exploded across the ship, and then silence. The ship vanished in the sky. Gone, Marcus ran to her side. "You did it," Leary smiled. "I didn't destroy them. I just stopped them." He nodded. "You're stronger than they ever feared, and more human than they'll ever be." As the fire in the forest died out, Savra was quiet again. But nothing would be the same. The galaxy had seen a girl fight back, not with hate but with heart, and they would remember her name, Leary. The heart of the machine, deep beneath the surface of Savra, where fire no longer burned and the warship was just smoke in the sky, Leary sat alone. The cave walls glowed faintly, lit by broken tech. Her body still hummed with strange energy. It moved through her like water, but heavier, deeper. Not just power. It felt like memories. "They didn't just train me," she whispered. "They changed me." Marcus watched her from across the room. He was worried, but he hid it well. "You've grown stronger," he said. "But that kind of power can be dangerous." "I know," Leary replied. "That's why I need to find the truth. All of it." Marcus nodded. "Then we go to the core archive." The core archive was a hidden station, buried inside an old asteroid, once used by galactic scientists, now abandoned. It stored knowledge no one wanted others to find. Inside that archive was a name, Dr. Rennick Vale. He was the man who created Project Echo. The journey took days, through debris fields, solar winds, old mine traps. Once a shadow ship chased them, but Marcus outsmarted it with fake signals. Inside the ship, Leary stayed quiet. Her thoughts ran wild. Who was I supposed to be? Am I even real? Or just something they made? At night, she stared at her hands, glowing softly. And when she closed her eyes, she saw flashes. Labs, cages, cold machines. A woman's voice crying her name. Then, silence. They reached the asteroid. It was gray, cracked, and wrapped in broken satellites. "Looks dead," Marcus said. "But something's alive inside," Leary answered, already walking forward. Inside, the walls were metal and bone, part machine, part organism. Strange vines pulsed with faint light. "This place is old," Marcus said. "Older than Project Echo." "And it's watching us," Leary whispered. Suddenly, a door opened on its own. They stepped into the main chamber. A giant machine sat in the center, like a throne made of wires. Inside, a glowing brain-like core pulsed, and from the shadows a voice spoke. "You finally came home." A hologram appeared, Dr. Rennick Vale. Thin, tall, sharp eyes. Not alive, but still speaking through. The station's memory, Project Echo, or should I say, Illyra. "That was your real name before we changed it." Leary's breath caught. "You had a gift," the doctor said. "Something rare, something ancient. Your DNA held traces of the Ether Code, a forgotten force once feared by gods." Marcus whispered, "Ether? That's legend." "Not legend," Vale replied. "Truth. We used your gift to build a living weapon, but we couldn't control it. We locked it deep inside you." "Why?" Leary asked. "Why take a child? Because a galaxy ruled by fear doesn't need heroes," Vale said. "It needs monsters. And we tried to make one." His face flickered. Then his final words echoed. "You were the only one who could save this galaxy, or burn it." The hologram died. The machine behind it pulsed once, then cracked open. Inside, a small crystal hovered. Bright blue. Warm. "This is the core," Leary said. "Your heart," Marcus whispered. Leary reached out. The moment she touched it, memories flooded in, her mother, her real name, Illyra, a planet lost to war, her scream when they took her, the pain, the erasing, and finally, the voice of her mother. You are not a weapon, you are a star. Tears fell down Leary's face, but the station wasn't safe anymore. Alarms rang. Ships were coming. Again. Outside, 5 bounty ships arrived, led by a cold, robotic enforcer named Unit H-12, known for capturing fugitives without fail. Target located, the machine said. Terminate if necessary. Inside, Leary stood tall. I know who I am now. Marcus handed her a blade. Then let's show them. They fought through the station. Leary moved like light. Her powers were sharper now. But she still chose control. She disabled the hunters, not killed. Marcus hacked doors, set traps. They reached the outer dock, but H-12 was waiting. You are dangerous, the machine said. Only to people like you, Leary replied. They fought. Leary's powers clashed with H-12's weapons. Fire met ice. Steel met energy. Finally, she found his core and froze. She could destroy him, but she didn't. You don't get to decide what I am, she said. She powered down his system with a pulse of light. He fell, and she walked away. They escaped in their ship, flying into the stars. Marcus looked at her. You remembered everything? She nodded. My real name, my real home. And now, I know my purpose. What is it? To find others like me. To help. To protect. Not as a weapon, but as Illyra. Marcus smiled. Then let's find them. The stars stretched ahead, and for the first time she felt not fear, but hope. She chose mercy. The stars blurred past the ship's windows. Space was quiet again, but inside her chest, Illyra, felt anything but calm. She now remembered everything. Her stolen name, her lost home, and the terrible hands that tried to shape her into a weapon. She should have felt rage, but what she felt was sadness. You don't have to carry this alone, Marcus said one morning as he worked on the ship's cracked control panel. Illyra sat nearby, her arms folded around her knees. Then why do I feel like I'm about to break? Because you're human, Marcus replied. Even with all that power, you still feel. She looked at her glowing hands. Sometimes I wish I didn't. He placed a hand on her shoulder. Don't say that. Your heart is your strength, not your weakness. Their peace shattered when an emergency alert hit every ship in the sector. Project Echo has declared herself. High alert. Prepare for planetary lockdown. Planet Velek under threat. Military response initiated. Illyra's heart dropped. Velek was a mining world. Poor, unarmed, full of innocent families. She knew the truth. They weren't preparing for her attack. They were using her name as an excuse. Someone in the Galactic Council was trying to start a war, and they needed fear to do it. They're going to bomb Velek, she said. Marcus looked shocked. But why? You're nowhere near it. They want people to stay afraid of me, she said. They want to control the story. Then we need to change the story. They raced through hyperspace. Illyra could barely sit still. Inside her, power sparked with each breath. She didn't want to fight again. But she would. Not for revenge. For justice. When they arrived at Velek, the skies were already filled with warships. Huge cannons pointed down toward small cities. We're too late, Marcus whispered. Illyra stood. No, we're just in time. She stepped outside the ship, floated upward, glowing like a star. A voice boomed from the main cruiser. Stand down, Project Echo. Illyra didn't flinch. I'm not your project. My name is Illyra, and I will not let you kill these people. You are a threat. No, she said. You are. And then she rose higher, arms wide, eyes blazing with blue light. Below, people watched from rooftops. Children, miners, elders. They had heard the stories, they had heard the fear, but now they saw her, not as a monster, but as a girl floating in the light, and they hoped. The warships fired. Energy beams screamed toward her, but Elira raised her hands and caught them, all of them. Her power formed a shield over the entire city. Marcus watched from the ship, awe on his face. "She's doing it," he whispered. "She's protecting everyone." The warships tried again. More fire, more power. Elira didn't move. The energy swirled around her and faded, and then she spoke. Her voice echoed across the sky. "I won't destroy you. I won't become what you made me. But if you harm even one innocent life, I will stop you, again and again and again." The command ship trembled. Inside, generals hesitated. They had expected a killer. Instead, they saw a protector. "Stand down," one officer said. "But she's not attacking. She's saving them. Look." On the ground, the people of Velek were cheering, not running, not hiding. They believed in her. The soldiers couldn't shoot anymore, and slowly, the ships retreated one by one. They turned and vanished into the stars. Elira floated back down. As she landed, a small girl ran forward and hugged her. "Thank you," the child whispered. Tears filled Elira's eyes. For the first time, someone wasn't afraid of her. Someone saw her. Not as a weapon, but as a hero. That night, Marcus and Elira stood on a rooftop watching lights dance in the sky. "You could have destroyed them," Marcus said, "but you didn't. Because I chose mercy," she said. "I chose to break the cycle. And now, Elira said with a soft smile, "I start something new." She looked up at the stars. "I want to find others like me, the ones who were taken, the ones still hiding. What will you do when you find them?" "I'll show them the truth," she said, "that they don't have to be afraid anymore." And in the shadows of the galaxy, other eyes were watching. Other survivors. Other creations. They saw her light, and they began to hope. The galaxy-watched news of Elira's stand at Velek spread faster than light. Footage of her catching starfire blasts with her bare hands, without hurting anyone, was shown on every screen, in every system. Some called her a miracle, others called her a problem. But no one ignored her anymore. Across 1,000 worlds, people whispered a name that once meant destruction, and now meant something else. Hope. Deep inside the ship, Elira sat with her head bowed. Her body ached from the battle. Her mind was filled with too many voices, memories, questions, fears. Marcus entered the room with 2 cups of warm synth tea. "They're calling you the girl who stopped a war," he said, handing her one. "I didn't stop it," she whispered. "I just delayed it." "Maybe," Marcus said. "But you showed people a new way, and now they're listening." Elira looked up. "But are they changing?" He didn't answer. They both knew change was slow. But it had begun. The next message came unexpectedly, a coded signal sent from a hidden relay station, only visible to those built like her. It contained one word. Help. Coordinates were attached. "What is it?" Marcus asked. "It's someone like me," Elira replied. "Someone still trapped." She stood immediately. "We're going." They followed the signal to a cold, dead moon orbiting a gas giant. No light. No air. Only silence and forgotten ruins. But below the surface, in an old testing facility, they found it. A glass pod buried in steel, and inside a boy no older than 14. His eyes flickered with strange light. Machines buzzed. Warnings flashed. "They're draining his energy," Elira said. Marcus moved fast, cutting cables and breaking locks. Elira placed her hand on the pod, and something passed between them. Images, pain, loneliness, darkness. She gasped. He was awake inside, screaming silently for years. "You're safe now," she whispered. His eyes opened. "Who are you?" he asked weakly. "Someone who used to be like you," she said. "But not anymore." They brought the boy, Kale, back to the ship. Elira taught him how to breathe freely, how to eat, how to sleep. For days he didn't speak. Then slowly, He asked a question. Can we find the others? Elira froze. Others? He nodded. There were more, not just me. Marcus stepped forward. How many? Dozens, Cale said. Maybe hundreds. Different labs. Hidden. Everywhere. That night, Elira stood under the stars. Her eyes filled with fire. Not from rage, but from purpose. They wanted to build weapons, she said, softly. But they accidentally created a new future. Marcus nodded. You're starting a revolution. Elira turned to him. No, not a war. Not anymore. Then what? A rescue. They traveled for months. From gas moons to forgotten planets. From asteroid vaults to derelict ships. Everywhere the signal called, they answered. And with each rescue, Elira changed. She grew not just stronger, but softer. She learned names. She heard stories. She cried with them, trained with them, healed with them. Soon she wasn't alone. There were dozens, girls and boys who were once machines, now becoming people again, and they followed her. Not because she was the strongest, but because she had been the first to choose mercy. In the shadows, the leaders of the old order watched with growing fear. We created a monster, one of them said. No, another replied bitterly. We created a movement. Should we attack? No. Not yet. The galaxy is watching. If we strike now, they'll rise with her. And the galaxy was watching. From space stations to village screens, people tuned into broadcasts showing the young ones being freed, reunited with families and finding peace. They saw a human, Marcus, standing beside them. And they saw a girl who once could have ended worlds, now building them instead. She had no crown, no army, no flag, but she had something stronger, belief. One day, Elira stood before the largest crowd she had ever seen. The council had called for a meeting of all systems, an emergency summit, old leaders, new rebels, diplomats, soldiers, and in the center, Elira walked alone to the microphone. No armor, no weapons, just her. She looked at them, at millions watching across the stars, and said, I was made to be feared. But I chose something else. I chose to feel, to remember, to protect. And now I choose to lead, not with violence but with truth. The hall was silent. Then slowly hands began to clap, one by one, louder, stronger, until the chamber thundered. Marcus stood in the back, smiling. You did it, he whispered. Elira didn't smile. She simply whispered back, we're just beginning. And across the galaxy, the stars blinked, as if nodding, because the galaxy had once feared her power. But now, they saw the lost girl inside, and they followed her into the light.